Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the line, this is your song.
Yeah, welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Coming live every weeknight at normally midnight, and we talk about guns for an hour. So right now it is middle of the night, and I don't know how many people are going to show up. We're about an hour late, but I figure we'll run it for the people that are around, awake, and I guess anybody that listens to this after the fact, y'all need to leave some comments out there when you do that. I am looking for a thing over here. I think I might be getting to it. No, that's not it. Looking for something in my browser history here. I think I finally found it. So I was doing some work on the projects, and looks like my mic is working. First of all, saying is actually, I was hoping to actually get a start on the nozzle for the thing today, but unfortunately I got sidetracked from building a trip. Right on. I was working on the project, and I found 2 auctions that Jam Davis has done, and this one has a list of all the stuff that they sold. So I figured look through that. I don't know how many people are going to show up. This ain't as good as complaining about what we're told to complain about or nothing. Let's see. We got Jam Davis. This was from last year. They're going to give us the date. So Jam Davis is the guy that left his private gun collection to the state of Oklahoma so they could leave it on display in a 40,000 square foot facility in Claremore, which is just north of Tulsa. He was 7 years old in 1901, and then until 1965, I don't know what this word is, he was an inveterate collector of firearms. So anyway, he was a collector of firearms, and he shared them. If you see him as a must-see for any weapons collector, I guess, if you want to call yourself a weapons collector. But displaying a variety of weaponry and famous felon, outlaw, and law enforcement personality items from history. That's the shittiest description of the museum I've ever heard. Screw this auction house. It's a firearms museum, and it displays an incredible amount of variety of firearms. So a dumbass would think the guns in there are weapons. 99% of the guns in there never shot nothing, let alone nobody. Yeah, domain names are just like copyrights or trademarks. It's supposed to be one person has one, right? And it's a little easier on the internet because once they give you one, you're going to use it and you're going to have it. So anyway, back in the olden days, I don't know, somebody decided, here's the internet and let's use this system. And at some point they created an international association of people that make the rules, and part of the rules were the system and the naming conventions, things like that, and the units of measurement and shit like that. So that's when they came up with registrars, people that are allowed to create new names in the big ass list of domain names. And then it's their task to keep it straight with the main governing body of the internet, I guess. So it's not that they collect taxes or nothing. They just make sure there's not 2 gun websites, that's all. So, or they do a couple other things, I guess. But anyway, so you have to find a registrar. Now, back in the day, there was only a few of them, and it cost a lot. And now it's the other way around. There's a lot of them, and they don't cost very much. So you just go to find one. There's a couple. And then I forget what they cost now. Maybe $10 a year. They might be a couple of bucks less or more, depending on your situations. But let's say you find the name you want, somethinggood.com. And then you go to a registrar and you try to find it, see if somebody else already has it or not. Most of the time, if it's something cool, they already got it. So try to find something else till you got one that nobody's got. So once you find one that nobody's got, you buy it. And then as long as you keep paying for it, nobody else can buy it. And that's why I got like gunwebsites.com bought that in like 2004 or something. So every year since 2004, I pay $10 and we keep it. You could do that with a couple others too. So that's pretty much the nuts and bolts. It's pretty simple. If you ever need help, let me know. I've gotten websites bought, built, set up, and running during a live chat before, so it can happen pretty quick now. It's not quite immediate. It takes about 20 minutes for the things to go through, but basically immediate. I can usually, if I'm working on a project and I decide to build a new website, I can buy it, set it up, and by the time I'm to the part of setting it up where I need to look at it, it's working. So they basically happen instantaneously these days. Anyway, I can't even, there's no way to count. So anytime you need help with it, it'd be like asking somebody, if somebody asks you to smooth a piece of metal. It's just a thing you do, so no big deal. Do I go through the same purchase register every year? It just depends. I have one where I have hundreds, so I go there because I get a discount. And then I've got others also. I don't like to keep all my eggs in one basket, just like anything. You don't use just one bank. You don't use just one grocery store, hopefully. You have a couple, but you have your main ones, I suppose. Registrars are not good or bad anymore, I guess. Back in the day, there was probably more to it. It's becoming more like a commodity, so most of them that have any kind of reputation are decent, and you should be okay. But like you said, let me know. I can give you any tips or ideas on any specifics or whatever. But it ain't even a thing. It's super easy. I'm still drinking coffee. I think I'm going off the caffeine though, so I'm only drinking like half of a shot glass of coffee today and a bunch of chocolate nut milk. Let's see. Proceeds from the sale go directly to long-term care and maintenance of the collection. None of the items in the sale are the current displays. Nearly everything's been out of public view for at least 54 years. That's why this is pretty neat. Long before the modern era and written research reference and tabletop books were published, for example, none of these guns were known to R. Larry Wilson, his prolific 60 book, Young Man, a Builder, Colt, and blah, blah, blah. Worked for Colt about the time this collection went into storage. Interesting. So basically, this is the guy's collection of stuff. They got stuffed into the basement, and they just decided to put it on auction last year with very little commotion, like very little awareness of this. The sale hosts more than 2,200 antique to modern. I guess I can throw this in here. Yeah, but then don't ever buy anything to forget about it. It's to your advantage to be aware of your stuff. And the website, if it's for a business, you don't want to forget about a website. You want to keep it aware. You want to work on it at least quarterly because it's just like your storefront. If you buy a store and you create a storefront and then you never maintain the front of it, why would anyone want to go to your business if they walk up and it looks derelict or something? So you want to, even if you don't care about it, you got to keep the front of your business around for other people who might, be getting their first experience with it. So same thing with the web, if not more so. If you make a website that looks like ass, then people aren't gonna, especially somebody who's just browsing along, they're gonna compare it with everything else that's new and fancy. And go, oh, this must be neglected or whatever. They must not care. So I wouldn't recommend ever just leaving it. As far as the billing, though, you want to pay attention just because, I don't know, depending on how much you're paying for it. If you're paying $10 a month or something, if you're paying $10 a month, get the hell out of there. If you're paying $10 a year, then I guess who really cares if it's 7 somewhere else or if it's 12 somewhere else? It doesn't matter. But, don't pay more than that. So, yeah, I guess as far as setting it up auto, set it up auto, but I don't even pay it. I don't let my shit go on auto. I want to make sure every month I'm aware of what's going on. You put any amount of time or effort into something, even if it's just anything.com, like any weird name.com. If you put effort into it and you've created any kind of anything there, then it's worth it to someone else to put their garbage there. So if you forget to buy your name one year and it expires, and when it expires, it goes to the rest of the world. Anybody that wants it can just buy it. It goes back into the pool. But the difference is your website now has time on the clock. So when people who are in the business look at the names that have just dropped, these people no longer want their names anymore. So here they are. You can grab them now. Even if it's some weird name, they'll probably grab it and then put a restaurant on there or put a moving company on there. They'll do something where they can take advantage of whatever work you've already done. So it's sort of like if you developed a piece of property and put a building there, and you were some crazy, I don't know, you horseshoed or something. You put shoes on horses. So only certain people with horses even showed up to go to your place ever. But of course, you go out of business because it's a city and you're horseshoeing and there's no horses around. So you go out of business, and then somebody comes along and goes, oh, snap, there's a whole building built here. I'm just going to grab that building and make it into a restaurant. It'll look like a horseshoe place, but it'll be a restaurant. And they're happy with that because some people are going to come up and go, hey, is this the horseshoe place? Oh, give me a burrito. And that's worth it because it only costs them $10 a year to have that domain, that website that you left. So if they can buy a building for $10 that you left behind, either because you forgot to pay for it or you're just not paying attention, then they can just move right in. And then even if it only lasts for 2 years and people quit coming in looking for horseshoes, then they don't care because they're just going to move the restaurant to the nurse practitioner that forgot to renew his domain name, or the truck driver that forgot to renew her domain name. My dog's allergic to the bullshit. She's over there sleeping or sneezing. Yeah, GoDaddy's one of the biggest ones. They're here in Phoenix. They got a pretty good reputation. I use GoDaddy. I don't know if Nightstrike does it. I don't know if you're interested in working with Nightstrike or not, but I think he said something that he does them now. So unless he charges like $50, if he does, punch him in the face. Because don't pay no $50 for a domain name. But if he charges a regular amount of money, you might be able to go to Nightstrike if you feel like it. All right, so this tells me a little bit more about this thing. So I started looking at this the other night when I was figuring out what was going on. And first, the first ones here don't have images. That's kind of boring. But then I started to figure out it's not that many guns. It's actually stuff. So the guy collected guns, but he had a hotel. And the goal was to get people to stop at his hotel, right? So he would put these guns on display, and they were all over the hotel, actually. And he had other stuff. So beer steins were a big collection, and I don't know, a couple of different things. I guess we'll see them here. So first thing that caught my eye was this weird looking thing. So I guess it's sideways. That's why it looks weird. But it's some sort of antique bottle pipe. So I think, I don't know if it's supposed to look like a dick or something. I don't know what's going on with this thing. But this is the mouthpiece, right? And then I don't know what's going on with it. And then there's this part. So maybe that's where the stuff goes. I really don't know what's going on with it. But what I did notice about it is that it went for $35. And then it looks like, where are you? Bug crawling on me. It was $35 and then $8 for some kind of fee, probably. So $43. So right off the bat, it makes me think they're not paying a lot of money for this stuff. I don't think this even sold. Here's what that's saying. This bottle or this thing of bottles sold for $50. That doesn't mean anything to me, but I'm not a bottle collector. These are wooden bottles. How cool is that? $400 for 4 wooden gin bottles. I thought that was pretty cool. But then they had these buttons from rodeos, horses and shit, from back in the olden days, I'm guessing, because he put them away in 1965. $55. I don't know if that's a good or bad deal, but certainly not $1 million or nothing. And there's a bunch of branding irons, spurs and hats and stuff. Let's see. Then there was this stuff I thought was pretty interesting. A bunch of the things that go between horns when you mount bull horns, except that they're all engraved, leather tooled and stuff. So maybe it was a quick, I don't know if he got these things and they pulled the horns off and they kept them because of the tooling or, the leather, or if they were in the process of being built and somehow he had them, but 24 of them without horns there, 33 of them without horns there. $100. So I don't know what the historical significance of something from the 60s would be, but I bet you if you're putting horns together now, that got you going. I mean, they have 24 sets that are already engraved. That's got to be a good deal. Like somebody made some money right there. And 33 of them right here. Now here is a whole bunch of them that are already, oh, it says mounts with one horn. Interesting. I don't know what the hell anybody want that for. Making powder horns out of it, I guess. $250 though. I mean, they cut horns apart and do all kinds of stuff with the horn material. Buffalo mount, $180. What? A buffalo mount, $180. Probably belonged to one of the last Western buffalo herds. It says poor condition, but classic. So let's see how bad a condition it's in. For $180, it's probably in bad condition. They only give us one shitty picture of it. You know, a taxidermist, though, as a project, would probably be like, dang, for $180, I can put together this buffalo from 1900. But it does names parked through them for 1 or so years. You know, sorry, 15 years. Okay, right. What is the privacy protection? So it's $10, and it is. I guess technically, if it's like anything, if you own a building, if somebody wants to know who owns that building, they can go find out. So they say they're going to put some kind of privacy on there. So if somebody says, who owns www.whatever.com, that it's just going to say private or something like that. I don't know. I don't have the kind of money to put that on there. But if you don't have mailing addresses that are, you know, like P.O. boxes or something, then you might want to pay the $10. Mainly it's not because of somebody's going to come like poke you in the eye at your house. It's because as soon as you build one of these things, website, as soon as you buy one of the domain names, you're going to get a lot of phone calls and emails from just solicitors. So I believe the privacy is less for privacy, like worrying about people, as it is for just not getting a bunch of spam phone calls and emails and whatever contact. So I didn't really pay attention. I scrolled past a lot of this, but man, there was a lot of Longhorns. I guess I could understand why they wanted to get rid of a lot of this stuff. It's just been sitting down there, but $80. Whew. Now these single Longhorns went for $500. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with horns, but it just seems like dirt cheap. Now we get into something I'm more familiar with, and that is ammunition die sets. This bothers me because there's room on the walls up there. Why didn't they just bring these upstairs? These are definitely not duplicates. I didn't see anything like this in the museum in any of my visits. All right, so we've got this one, which is dumb, and it went for $300. And it's stupid looking. It's basically, though, the blank, the punch, the draws, and then the eventual shaping of whatever this is, a 308 or a 223 or something. All right, I'm muting. I'm going to be in here by myself. I'm coughing. So then this one is a cartridge belt with bullets from a Spencer, and it's framed. That was pretty cool. So let's open that one up. Now there's something like a million of these, so I can't open up all of them. But this is pretty big. It's got a whole bunch of bullets in it, 56, 52, unofficial something belt, USA prototype, 1866, development loop cartridge belt by Stanley. So that's kind of neat. It looks like somebody maybe sample or something for this thing. Wish they'd have more than one picture. Then we get this one. This one looks super cool. This one went for $1,000. One picture. But that looks so much better than some of these others. Very cool. So this looks like a thing people just did. And this looks like somebody had taken maybe some different kind of newspapers or something to get the effect, numbered everything, wired them to the board. That is such a neat looking bullet board. So military ammunition, 1866 to 1903. How cool is that? Saluting blank fire. So look at all these blanks. Anyway, that's pretty cool. $1,000 though. But I'm thinking of paying for 10 years in advance. It's only 200. That'll make, oh man, I don't know. I guess so. If you got the money, then just don't forget about it. And, you know, it sucks to go 10 years on something and then have the auto thing hit an email that you're not paying attention to and lose it. That'd be your biggest concern. Otherwise, if you got the money to go for 10 years, you'll pay for it on today's prices, and the prices will go up. If I would have had the money to buy all my domains 10 years ago, 10 years out, I'd be thousands of dollars ahead. I don't want to think about it. I don't have that kind of money. Man, so this one went for $150. Makes no sense. This one sold to somebody for $1,000, $200 service fee. This one didn't even sell. This one sold for $75. I mean, obviously it's a brand new one compared to that other one, but still pretty dang cool. Bunch of bullets and then Hornady bullets. So bullets instead of cartridges, but I don't know. I definitely consider this, especially somebody that's a reloader. You think they might dig some of this vintage stuff. 1864 to 1964. Yeah, 100 years worth of projectiles. I'm not a big projectile guy, but it turns out Hornady, I went and visited their plant. They couldn't take video or nothing, but it was pretty amazing because they have all the machinery from World War II productions of ammunition. And I was like, oh, that's amazing that you got all this equipment. And then I find out that the plant, the ammunition factory for World War II was in the same town. They just bought it from the town and took it over to their factory, which isn't such a big deal. I mean, they still did it. It's just that they don't need to drag it across town. This auction was last year. I'm looking at historic. This is over. All this is over a year ago. I thought it was all guns. So I was just pissed and I didn't even watch the auction. And now I'm pissed that I didn't watch the auction because it's almost, well, I can't find any guns yet. All I found is swords and buckets and knives and shit. So here's oh, are you kidding me? Holy fuck. So this is a Chinese bayonet with a $200 belt loop on it. And they sold the whole contraption for $100. That drives me nuts. I don't even buy bayonets anymore, but I would buy that. That's money right there. Oh, man. The bayonet's not worth shit, but that little fuck, actually, it's a green bayonet. Fuck, that's money right there. That's big money. Stupid museum doesn't even know what the fuck they got. And that's just one thing that I know about. I don't know about that. That's like a $4 bayonet probably. But I don't know about shit like this and what its value has. They need to bring people in. That's not good. I wish I feel bad for the museum. I'm throwing that away. Those are very rare. Very, 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 very fucking rare. And they just threw that shit away. That whole auction went for less than what that little fucking piece of metal is worth. I feel bad for the museum. I feel bad for J.M. Davis. All right, so here's some. Are you kidding me? A 20th century crossbow. This is probably a modern, made out of a stock or something. Yeah, this is pretty modern, but still, $50. Start price, $50. Didn't even sell. This one right next to it sold for $2,500. Big difference between modern fake and authentic, I guess, but still. We had several munitions plant in Nebraska. Oh, okay. This is the Grand Fork or whatever munition plant. I think it was called the Grand Fork, or is in Grand Fork at least. I guess it would make sense. All the lead was coming from just south of you there, it sounds like. But the chemicals were coming from like New Jersey. I think or out east somewhere is where all the chemicals came from. So I could I don't know shit about swords. This one was $250, $275. These didn't even sell. That makes no sense to me. Unless they started the bidding too high. No, start price $100. Who wouldn't buy? Oh, they're European. Nobody wants European swords. $1,000 for these two Americana swords. So there you go. Here's another crest engraved with patterns, more research, deer horn, brass handle. Interesting. $300. This here though, $450. I don't know. I'd buy one of them wiggly blades just to have one. This one looks pretty neat. $650 though. I'm not paying that kind of money. So let's go to 100, and I don't remember where we were because it doesn't matter. It's just swords. So here's another one that I seen for 190. That makes no sense because I don't know anything about bayonets. This one's certainly not worth shit though. This is like a $10 bayonet. Got a whole bunch of Civil War bayonets for $200. Actually, shit. Where do you get all these fucking bayonets pre-65? Wonder how you even got a AK bayonet pre-65. Maybe it does have a red insulator. It's kind of a cream red though, pretty red insulator. Oh, look at that handle though. That handle's a little goofy. It's probably still just a $5 bayonet. It's been a little while, but that handle might. I'm trying to remember now. I don't think that's a regular handle, so it's probably not. If it's anything, it's just a weird version of that one. But probably not worth $100 that that auction went for. These are neat. $50. They didn't even sell. I would probably put a bid on those for $50 because from 65, these weren't garbage. These were something. Even if they were tourist crap from 65, that's cool. This one went for $800. That makes sense. This little weirdo set went for $140. A little tiny sword looking thing, $140. These looking weird ones. A lot of old bayonets, a lot of modified bayonets I saw as I scrolled through here too. There's a bunch that were just swords that were chopped, which I'd still think people would buy them. That's still sword material. Grind it down to a new sword. Look it up. All right, so now we get done with swords and we start getting into buttons. So I thought this was kind of neat. I've seen they have some of this stuff on the wall, but what does it cost to put this stuff in a case and put it on the fucking wall? I mean, nothing. They didn't make no money selling this stuff, I don't think. They get the building for free. How much? Everybody works there for volunteer. They need money for. So anyway, a whole bunch of different badges and stuff. So General George Custer. What does this say? I can't even read what this says. 7th Annual Reunion. Harris Light Cavalry Association, 2nd New York, Buffalo, New York, August 1897. So I guess that was more like a reunion of a bunch of dudes from the Civil War or something. Kind of neat. I guess they got if they would have got like a shit ton of pictures of each of these and then sold them, but then kept the pictures for the thing, that would have been cool. So here's a bunch of Fox Hunt buttons. Fox Hunt. Cleveland inauguration button. A bunch of Hennings buttons. I don't know what that is. There's a bunch of them. So I imagine these things probably get destroyed after some amount of time. There's one got ripped. Member of the Cow Association. Dang, what is this? I had something like this when I was a kid. I think that's a Nazi one. Some kind of donkey metal. Oh, look at these old knives. I don't know why they can't just open these and throw them in a case. What the hell? An ammo gift shop? They do. They kind of, I think, if I remember right, like I got there and they don't have tours like, 9 o'clock the tour leaves. Instead, like twice a day, they have windows and you can show up and get a tour. So I was going through on like a Thursday, and I think I know I left Colorado at like 2 in the morning or something. Maybe it was like 10. I forget. I left Colorado at night though. And I didn't feel like staying in Colorado and being that far behind. So I left and I figured I would just get ahead on Nebraska. And by the time it was morning, I'd already gone past Travis, who I thought lived in the middle of Nebraska, and he lives not in the middle of Nebraska, or he lived not in the middle of Nebraska. So I had passed him, but I wasn't yet to Grand Forks. And then I got there, and I think what it was is I was getting there, and I wasn't sure how it went. So I kept calling the lady and saying, "Oh, I'm trying to show up for the tour today. Is it okay if I'm late?" And she's like, "Yeah, doesn't matter." So then I called and said, like, "Oh man, I'm way later than I thought. I don't know if I hit a time zone or what happened. I think I was going to be like an hour later." And then she's like, "Yeah, it don't matter because we just put those times in there as like a general rule. But since there was no tour today, the guy who does that can just do it any time for you. Just let us know when you get here." So when you get there, it's like walking into any business, any like front office of any business. It's just a factory. So you walk in, you go, "Oh, I want to take a tour." And then they're like, "Yeah, okay." And then they call the guy, but he's out working or doing his business. So you basically just have to wait there. And that's where they've got this like, I don't know what to call it. It's like sort of like a waiting area slash kind of like a store. So anyway, you can just go through all these drawers. I'll describe it. It's just like a ton of drawers, little tiny drawers, and every drawer they're all deep, but they're tiny. And as you pull one open, it'll just be a ton of bullets, like boxes of bullets. So every caliber you can imagine, and then every shape, and I don't know what all the differences are, but all the different bullets. And then bigger drawers had like hats and blankets and towels and like other stuff that had their names on it. And it wasn't free. It had prices on it. So I guess technically they have a gift shop, but it's more like, just a portion of their lobby, I guess. And I don't know if maybe it was for employees, because I don't know how many people go over to that factory and, wait for some secretary. I can only assume the secretary has to somehow charge you for that stuff out of her desk there. There's no cash register or nothing set up. I'm saying by nothing. They didn't give me a hat or nothing. That was going to gun rights policy 18. So that would have been 2 years ago. Like October of 18, September of 18, something like that. I forget when gun rights policy is like 27th of September, I think. So it would have been a couple of days before that. All right, so next up is some knives and another couple of buttons. So there's a pile of sweet gum pin collection. $120. All Nations Sweet 16 gum. So it must have been like you got a flag of a nation every time you bought gum. That's kind of cool. That would have cost him a couple of bucks to get all the buttons made. A button for each country times quantity. That's a few. Looks like they had quite a bit in there. There's the United States. I'm looking for Mozambique, but I don't think they're going to come. They probably didn't have the AK-47 back in '65 anyway, or they weren't a country yet. What is this? Claremore Business Records. That's interesting. A bunch of receipts and stuff from back in the day. Oh, Auto Gyro, a bunch of airplanes, Amelia Earhart bread buttons. To hell with Hitler. That's a pretty cool, like a little helmet medal. That's super cool. $50 for a helmet medal, and then a cool button that says "To hell with Hitler" and "To hell with Kaiser." I like both of those. This one's cool as shit. It's got the Super Fireman one, and then fireman rescuing a baby, or he's doing something to that baby. I don't know what he's doing, carrying that baby up a ladder, and then this shotgun one, and this cool, I don't know if that was 22 long rifle one, maybe. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I'd pay $80 for that or not. If I was a medal collector, though, I don't think I've ever seen a World War I helmet made into a medal. That's cool as hell. And it says to helmet Hitler. To helmet Hitler. Like to hell with Hitler. I like it. No starting failures. Keep America rolling. Check your battery. Oh, that's infuriating, and girls should look down. How about your? That's what I'm talking about. You don't see no chicks poking geese anymore. $25 and you could get a button of a naked chick poking a goose. That's sweet. Let's get lit. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? The national drink. We want beer or we work. No beer, no work. Oh, and prohibition. Nice. These are cool. Watch advertising. Holy crap. That's a shit ton of buttons. Somebody paid $225 just to guess, just to wonder what's in here. They must have seen a couple of good ones in here that they could tell was worth $200. That looks fun to do, though. That looks fun to go into. What do you think? They made more than $200 right there? I'm guessing the museum got screwed. This one looks neat. What's going on with this? What the hell is that? Rope. Oh, snap. That's a rope company? Oh, these are little pieces of rope. That is the coolest shit ever. Holy shit. These are just little pieces of different kind of rope. Oh, it's amazing. I like that thing. Coes are best. Some kind of wrench. American home builders. Some kind of kid watching a firework go off or something. Sheet metal contractors keep the iron hot. That's pretty cool. Let me clean your plugs by the new AC method. The fuck? People were weird as shit. We had a button collection when I was a little kid. I would look at them and go, what the fuck are they talking about? Like half the time, I had no idea what these jokes were. I still don't, because they say weird shit that makes no sense. Be a man about it. Have you seen my operation? Gay cocking. What the fuck? I ain't mad at nobody. Stop me if you've heard this one. Yeah, these are weird. Odd as hell. How'd those go? $30. I think I would have probably paid $30 if I had the money. Marble shooter. No. Yeah, marble shooter. Oh, now I get it. Now I get it. Weird. Interesting. Hope these are going to be good. Wisconsin, the Four Horsemen's fourth year. Some swell sweater. So these are kids' ones, I guess. Like superheroes and shit. Those are pretty good. I get some clocks. Old fire department hat. Bunch of these daggers went for $50. No one even bought them. What the hell's wrong with people? No one even bought these for $50. And then these sell for 120. How can these not sell for $50? My grandpa had, no, my great-great-grandpa, wait, my grandpa's dad had one that looked exactly like this. Exactly. Everything I remember about it makes me think it looked exactly like that one. I would have bought that just to have that. Some kind of music box. Those might be interesting. I wonder, there must be channels out there where people just put together mechanical music boxes again. Man, all these buttons are neat as hell. I don't know why the hell they would sell buttons. It seems like it would be so easy to just add buttons to the museum. So easy. And these pipes, I got a pipe like one of these. I wonder if they're worth anything. What do you call these kind of pipes made out of? Oh shit, my pipe, yeah, made out of, what do you call it? Ivory. These went for $90. Some sort of soap rock pipes for $600. Wow, what does that say? Kaolinite is found under a shelf of quartzite 6 or 7 feet. 6 or 7 feet thick. The first quarrying was probably done by the Oneida in the 1600s, and quarries are still in use. George Catlin, American artist and travelers, would be the first white visitor to the quarries, and it was for him that Kathleen was given its name. Interesting. It was with this stone that the Indians made their ceremonial pipes and other ornaments. This quarry is located near Pipestone, Minnesota. Interesting. I call it pipes or soapstone. $600. That seems like historical made. That's not even like old. I guess maybe because they know who made it. So all of these went for $70. These are neat as hell. Where's Clove Wrap? I think this was a live auction. I wonder if Clover would buy stuff like this, or if he'd be like, no, those aren't. Those are wrong or something. Buttons. Oh, a Chinese opium pipe. $40. Nobody even, or no, somebody did buy it. Chinese carved clay pipe. I think that's an opium pipe. I'm going to consider it an opium pipe. Which advertising ribbons? Stone Mountain Monument. Oh, look, maybe they turn that off because it's racist. I wouldn't want no Stone Mountain shit. All right, 3. So we got 3 on another page. It's no guns, though. So I guess I'm not too upset because there's no guns, but I'm upset because, man, they could have put some of these buttons out. Come on. Selling buttons for $300 doesn't make any sense to me. Boy, that's a bunch of pipe pieces that look pretty freaking interesting. For $65, I'll bet you somebody made some money. Cigars from Germany. I don't know, those bullets or those little tiny cigars? I'll bet you just these cigar boxes are worth something. Looks like they had Prince Albert in a can. I wonder if these are his, like this is what he was smoking. This was his stuff that he had for smoking, and then he died or whatever. School sports teams, elk and deer mounts. So $125. Those are pretty bulky. I could see why people, unless you got like a big place to put them, I could see why people wouldn't get them. Iron cork remover. Interesting. So this is just a cork. You put it to a table and for pulling the wine corks, $90. I guess some old bar might want that, right? Or somebody that's got a bar. 6 shelves of miscellaneous antiques. $1,000 for a no pictures or nothing. Oh my God. Oh my God. What kind of museum just sells 6 shelves of shit for $1,500? Is that even a museum anymore? Or is that somebody who just is in charge of somebody's old shit? Ugh. They don't even unbox it. I guess they must have done something to know there's not guns in there, huh? We need that for the corners. Corners, what are you talking about? They probably look at it, it costs X amount of dollars per item, store, and it doesn't generate revenue, it's not worth keeping. They don't have to pay for their building. They got the building for free. They don't have to do nothing. But I'd rather see volunteer, say, hey, we got a lot of stuff. We need to figure it out. Like, how about a button collection or a button collecting club comes in? Or how about a sword club comes in? And at least do a button auction and go nuts with it and make a big deal out of it. Like, hey, we're getting rid of each button or something. But like throwing a bunch of buttons together, this is just random. I don't know what to call it. I don't think it's good for the museum though. Rare British pocket knife, $75. Cigar holder. That's interesting. I didn't know those were things. So I guess if you smoke half a cigar, you shove it in there. Money swords, $100, $200. I've seen those. I never thought about it, but those are, I guess, a bunch of change put together and turned into a sword. That's pretty cool. A bunch of pipes for $150. Military grab bag, $450. Military patches. No picture. Some German. So let's see what this was all about. They must be. What do you mean we need that for corners? I don't know what I was looking at. So we got a belt buckle, we got a spoon, some sort of weirdness going on with that spoon. Got some sort of knife, lanyard, holder thing. I don't know what the fuck this is. Chalk line or something, some kind of flags, another belt buckle, something that says Paris. 3 more belt buckles, one of them with a fucking Nazi thing on it. Razor, and then some sort of fancy metal secrets box. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Nazi shit. That's probably why it went for $400. Nazis got all the gold from the war, so they can buy whatever they want for as much as they want. A bunch of military U.S. insignias. Wow, how could these? Oh, because of that Nazi crap, maybe. I was gonna say, how can these patches go for that kind of money? Ugh. I don't know. I don't really care, I guess, but I don't know how I feel about the selling Nazi shit. $40 for 2 giants points. Holy crap. Shirt projectile points, $75. Wow. Wow. I don't think anybody knew those were in there because that seems cheap for these things. But those are amazing. For that kind of money, somebody can really put some nice stuff on the wall with that. Clay artifacts and carved bone. That seems kind of cheap for those are actual real. Bunch of axes, $150. Damn. Again, somebody's got a really nice collection there. Arizona clay pot for $50. Doesn't make no sense at all. I don't think that they'd be just selling this stuff. You think people would be interested in some of the clay work and shit. Carved stone faces. Chert hose. Another opium pipe. Some scrapers. Kansas. More hammers. Dang, they got a whole museum worth of just hammers and stuff. They would have done some work and figured out whose all stuff that was. So somebody, hopefully another museum, picked up a bunch of this stuff. Bunch of game balls. Interesting. Never heard of game balls out here. That must be an Eastern thing. Wow, they got a lot of Indian stuff. $200 for that set of moccasins? That seems like a lot of work for those moccasins right there. Looks like he had a lot of Indian stuff. Holy moly. This doesn't see that. Why did that one go for $800? That's weird. This one went for 500. Wasn't because of the looks then. It was because somebody was paying attention. There we go. That's a real price. $1,500. Major projectile point collection, all labeled by the museum curator to style and place a location, perhaps 500 to 1,000. This is major Midwestern collection worthy of any museum educational display. That's not 1,000 points. What is he freaking talking about? I guess you're going to get a lot more than that. Oh, no way. There's no way they're paying. They're definitely, what do you call it? No profit. No, they're doing this probably because they just want to be able to use their basement, I guess. And they're not a Indian artifact or button museum. You know, they're a gun museum. Yeah, I would have much rather see this stuff all, I don't know, with this much Indian stuff. I'd much rather see some experts come in and talk about this. I have no idea if these things went for good prices or not. Some of them certainly went for real money, but then others didn't. No guns though, so I'm not too concerned that they didn't sell any guns off. The one in 2018 though, they did sell guns. So this is one of the coins. I got one of these coins next to some kind of giant penny. Personal collections, copper penny, and silver museum medal. Cool. Somebody got that for $55. Howdy. All right. Well, I think this is going to be the end of the last page. There's certainly not going to be any guns on here, but I'm still going to be butthurt that they didn't make a bigger deal out of this. How much did that Babe Ruth? 2 Babe Ruth buttons only got $130. Because everybody hates sports now. Look at all them Cardinals. What are these? Sargo Babbitt ingots. Is Babbitt material? Metal? That's kind of neat. So I wonder if Dead Horse would buy. If Dead Horse bought lead off of the J.M. Davis Museum, would he make bullets out of it and shoot them, or would he keep the lead on the shelf because it's from the J.M. Davis Museum? And how awesome is it to have lead from the J.M. Davis Museum? Oh snap! Here is a gun. Oh, here's another gun. So $160 for some kind of gun. $100 for this 410 shotgun. Nobody even bought this Winchester. Some kind of European shotgun for $400. H&R for $120. Mossberg for $100. Stevens $80. I might buy that just to say I got a gun from J.M. Davis for $80. Nobody even bought this one. Bunch of H&Rs. So nobody even bought this thing. Unknown manufacturer. Why would somebody not buy a gun from a J.M. Davis museum that no one knows what it is? Like, that's exactly the gun I would buy from the J.M. Davis Museum, for crying out loud. It's probably a prototype or something. So it doesn't look like a prototype, but it could be. I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is either. It was something at one time, it looks like, and now it ain't. But nobody even bought it. An Arasaka for $150. How can an M1 carbine go for $300 from the museum? And you got a bunch of fucking German helmets. Good, nobody even bought them. Huh, somebody bought that shitty one for $50. Nobody even bought these. Good, that makes me feel good. Somebody bought this shitty helmet for $100. This one's kind of neat, actually, but somebody bought it for $100. Wow, nobody bought that one? You would think that someone would have bought that dumbass looking helmet. Huh, nobody bought things that have shitty descriptions and no pictures. Amazing. Nobody bought 3095 NA. Huh. Anyway, I guess that's it. Boom. It's a bearing material, not straight lead. Oh. What do you mean bearing material? All right. It turns out it is any several alloys used for bearing surface in a plane bearing. He dislocated one of his, he disclosed one of his alloy recipes but kept the other. Other formulations were developed later. Babbitt metal is most commonly used as a thin surface layer in a complex multi-metal structure. Let's see. Diesel engine, blah, blah, blah. The term Babbitt is lowercase. It is preferred over white metal because the latter may refer to various bearing alloys, lead or tin. So it's characterized by its resistance to galling, which would make sense. Soft and easily damaged, which suggests that it might be unsuitable. However, its structure is made from small, hard crystals, makes it a matrix composite. As the bearing wears, the softer metal erodes somewhat, creating paths for lubricant between the hard spots that provide the actual bearing surface. Where tin is used in other softer metal, friction causes the tin to melt and function as lubricant, protecting the bearing from wear. Other lubricants are absent. Internal combustion engines use Babbitt metal, which is primary tin-based because it can withstand cyclic loading. Huh, that's interesting. So I don't even know how you get it to be on the surface. I imagine you electroplate it or something to get it on the surface or something. Traditional Babbitt bearings. A cast iron pillow block is assembled and loose fit around the shaft, with the shaft approximately the inner space of the cast iron pillow block is often drilled to form a key to locate the bearing metal as cast into place. Oh, okay. Molten metal is poured into the cavity, initially filling half of the pillow block. The bearing is stripped and the metal is trimmed back to the surface. A thin shim is inserted to protect the face of the lower bearing. I don't know what that means, but interesting. So I didn't know anything about it. Is that Babbitt worth anything? Sold for $50. What do you do with it? I would want one ingot of it just to put somewhere. Put it with my rocks or something. These are a lot like bushings and stuff in locomotives and early machinery. Huh. So instead of having a ball bearing, you would just use this stuff and it would melt, I guess. Interesting. All right, so that was the place in Reno that for some reason did the auction for J.M. Davis back last year. So, oops, I was in the wrong place. If I go to past auctions, they did the J.M. Davis one here in 2019. So they Never done a J.M. Davis. Only been 2 J.M. Davis auctions that I'm aware of. It looks like they've been doing them since 14. At least they've been archiving them here since 14, and it's mostly Western dynamite, guns, and gold. That one was interesting. Native Americana firearms auction. So it looks like they do a lot of Indian stuff, which you would think if they were doing a lot of Indian stuff, then they'd get more attention to the J.M. Davis Indian stuff. But whatever. Wow, $900 for a stagecoach miniature. It's 37 pages of that one. I'm not going through that one. It would be neat to see what the dynamite's all about. $350 for some dancers. Dang, got these all over town. These are bronze though. All right. Well, nobody's jumping in. We did have an hour's worth of chatting, looking at this stuff. Sorry I was a little bit late. Again, it has to do with Qwarking and sleeping. And being 111 today, it was pretty hot. I know it broke all kinds of records. As I was falling asleep, it was saying about how we were already breaking records. Let's let DuckDuckGo tell us. So at 11 o'clock, it's 92 degrees outside right now, which I'll tell you, I got all the doors and windows open. It feels nice. It got up to 100 and something today. Is it going to tell us? I don't know if it's going to tell us, but it was definitely hotter than 110. I think it said it was 113. We busted a couple of records today, and I think we busted records on hottest day of the year even. So it was pretty hot today, and that's why I'm blaming for being an hour late. Oh, yeah, it's pretty expensive because as far as I know, it's not commercially produced anymore because of the lead. Oh, okay. So it's not like it's needed for anything. It's more like just to have it because it's interesting. It's not like you need it for a piece of machinery anymore or to keep something running. Anyway, I gotta go to the bathroom. Nobody's in here. It's hard to go to the bathroom and just leave this thing running for 5 or 10 minutes. So I guess I'm gonna run out of here. 66 here, I could take that. I don't know if I'll be able to deal with 66 again. I'll be cold again. Everybody will be making fun of me again. Because whenever it gets to be under 70, I'm cold, always, probably. And then, under 60 or under 70. Yeah. Well, that's true. Yep, have a good weekend, everybody. And like I said, I think I have a pretty good idea how to run this show. I just need to kind of build the pieces. So see if I have any time this weekend. Getting to where I think I'm done accumulating stuff for the 50 states, and it's just down to layout. And I'm thinking about layout. There's a lot of things to think about on that. So I don't know if I'm going to work on that this weekend or if something else will come up that I'm forgetting about, or if I'll have a chance to work on this show. But one way or the other, we'll have a show again on Monday, and we'll be back to pick you up later. Thanks for joining us. And thanks to, I think, Barbecue. It's the only one that bought anything from the store today. So thanks for the purchase from your website store. Oh, dude, you got in here just before I click the double end button.
Oh, so you're about to end?
Yeah, I was just ending it right now. I gotta go.
I've been fighting with the ducks this whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was giving me issues for some reason again.
Did you check your mail today?
Yeah, I was actually going to talk to you about that after. That's awesome.
All right, cool. Well, I got to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to ditch out of here. We'll be back to pick you up later.